an application, you will need to provide your purchase receipt. Slalom PUD, bringing energy to life.
Newsradio KONP Business.
This is a Bloomberg Money Night. Egg prices went up 10% last month from January. They're up nearly 60% from a year ago. But consumer prices overall last month rose 0.2%, the slowest pace in 4 months. Stocks today now up between a fraction and 1.3%. This is traditionally the time of year home sales pick up, but this year house hunters are facing uncertainty. Affordability remains a concern, but there's now also worries about tariff wars with Mexico, Canada, and China, and that they could reheat inflation or tip us into a recession. It's not looking very promising right now, with the industry so far seeing a drop in home purchasing contracts and a spike in deal cancellations. iRobot, the maker of the Roomba vacuum, says it's looking at all options as it raises substantial doubt it can continue as a company. Amazon abandoned plans to buy it for $1 billion last year. Since then, iRobot has been trying to turn things around, releasing 8 new Roombas just this week. I'm Nancy Lyons, Bloomberg Radio.
Check on the traffic next, brought to you by Angela's Furniture and by Leeds Farm Supply.
Make your home your winter escape. For just a little bit longer, experience stressless savings with 10% off the Stressless collection. Or you can get $400 off Stressless power recliners. Experience the most innovative seating on the market. See and feel for yourself the stressless difference today. Stop by Angela's Furniture and talk with one of their Stressless by Eckerness experts, only through March 17th. Angela's Furniture, 1114 East 1st Street.
Bad Boy tractors are born from the legendary Bad Boy mowers. From 20 to 35 horsepower, subcompact to midsize, Bad Boy combines power, performance, comfort, and as always, build strength to deliver the workhorse dependability you need to get the job done and done right. Homeowner, landscaper, or rancher, there's a Bad Boy tractor for you to work with an attitude.
Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales is your Bad Boy tractor dealer in Sequim. Call 360-452-1400 to learn more.
Newsradio KONP. Traffic and roads.
Up the Clallam Transit Dispatch Center now. That's where Steve's standing by with a check of the traffic on this Wednesday afternoon. Good afternoon, Steve.
Hi there. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. A little bit on the busy side, both Port Angeles and Sequim. If you're out and about, a little slow going in a few places. Downtown Port Angeles, along Front Street, right now headed towards Marine Drive. A little bit of a lineup there. So it's going to be a bit of a delay to get turned onto the truck route, so just be aware of that. Also, Lincoln Street is fairly busy this afternoon, so just kind of plan ahead as you're making your way around town. As you're headed out of Port Angeles, we have the lane revisions at Baker Street and Lees Creek. Just be careful out there. Watch your speed. 25 miles an hour is the posted speed limit to that area. And they do have the lane shift in place, so just be careful when you're driving through that construction area. Beyond that, you should be just fine the rest of the way to Sequim. It's busy, but moving along at the speed limit. Hood Canal Bridge, good to go. No scheduled marine openings. State ferries running on time today. If you're headed out to the west end, we're in good shape with 101 all the way out to the Forks area. Just light to moderate traffic out there right now, and it is moving at the speed limit. So everybody take care. Be safe this afternoon. This is Steve reporting live from Clallam Transit for KONP.
All right, thanks, Steve. Another update from you coming in about a half hour as we continue on the Wednesday edition of the noon news reports. Lingering anger, one of the many remnants left behind following the first official declaration of a global pandemic for COVID-19. It happened 5 years ago yesterday. Here's ABC's Sherry Preston with more.
5 years after the lockdowns, the mask mandates, and the distrust of the medical system, the way many ordinary Americans treat healthcare workers is one of the lasting effects of the pandemic, says nurse practitioner Lisa Olson-Gugerty at Syracuse University.
I see lots of my fellow colleagues exhausted and tired, and there's still that presence of the public denying COVID.
She says the nation's healthcare system is still not what it once was. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
The West Texas measles flare-up has grown to 223 known infections, with 29 being serious enough to require hospitalization. Now, that does not include cases diagnosed in neighboring New Mexico and Oklahoma that are thought to be connected to the West Texas outbreak.
This is Jim Ryan. The vaccine known to prevent measles is a hot commodity among healthcare providers in West Texas. In fact,
we're getting some reports from pharmacies that are saying they can't order any.
But Catherine Wells of the Lubbock Health Department insists that
we don't have a shortage here in West Texas.
Pharmacies are simply finding new suppliers of the suddenly popular shots. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
Airlines sounding the alarm that consumer spending is changing amid growing worries about the economy. ABC's Alex Stone reports.
Coming out of the pandemic, Americans could not get enough travel. Airlines went on hiring sprees for pilots and bought up planes, but now Delta and other airlines are reporting a general feeling of pessimism over the future of the economy, mixed with recent plane crashes scaring some. The demand for domestic air travel has been abruptly negatively impacted. Consumers, companies, and the government are all now cutting back on booking air travel, and airlines are having to cut their earnings and revenue expectations. Alex Stone, ABC News.
A better life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
Our social media feeds are filled with so much good, but also so much garbage. Yes, what you see is to some extent out of your control, but there are also tangible things you can do to make your scrolling more enjoyable. My colleague Madeline recently wrote about how she's curated her experience, and she had these 4 pieces of actionable advice. Number 1, spend time on what you actually want to see. These algorithms are smart. They're going to feed you more of what you like. Number 2, know what you're looking for and try and avoid the rabbit holes. That way you're not spending mental energy deciding what you want to read or watch. Number 3, just as important, know what you're going to swipe away from. Simply the stuff that doesn't make you feel good. And number 4, really important, hide, unfollow, or delete any accounts that don't suit you. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
William is one of millions of Americans who uses GoodRx to save on the cost of their prescriptions.
My oldest daughter, Camilla, 2 days old, she had to have open heart surgery. All of a sudden, she's on 5 different medications. It adds up at the end of the month. Me and the pharmacist got so tight. She said, GoodRx save you a lot of money. Saving that extra $200-300 a month. We're able to do all these extra activities, so it puts less stress on our household, and it puts less stress on our pockets.
Download the free app or visit GoodRx.com and start saving today. GoodRx user compensated for their time. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance.
Hello, I'm Jerry Stewart, and this is One Moment in America. Are we too high and mighty today to do our own work? I'll tell you that story after this important message.
Hello, Jerry Stewart here. Question, what are you, an American or an Americant? You might be saying, what's the difference? Glad you asked. An American is someone who sees a problem in our nation, and rather than running from the problem, you stay. And you say, I can fix the problem. And you do, helping to make our great America even greater. And an Americant? Pretty simple, pretty sad. You say, there's a problem. You don't have a solution. You don't even try to make a solution. And that is being an Americant. And we don't need any more Americans, but more Americans. Do yourself a big favor. Go to our website at www.jerrystewartusa.com and join our American Club by subscribing. And when you do, we'll send you an official American certificate to hang up and show to all that you're an American. So go to www.jerrystewartusa.com and join now. See you there.
As the debate on illegal aliens continues, I recently heard one talking head say that we must have the illegal aliens to harvest our crops, to pick up our garbage. Is that true? As a nation, have we become too proud and too lazy to do our own work, so we have to import outside people to do it for us? The Bible says, pride cometh before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. We in America come from humble, hard-working people, not afraid to do the dirty work necessary to keep our nation going. Best we get off our high horses and roll up our sleeves before it's too late. Or is it already too late? I'm Jerry Stewart, and that was One Moment in America.
Spring cleaning? Downsizing? Turn your unused items into homes for heroes. Sarge's Veteran Support Thrift Store in Forks accepts donations of furniture, household goods, antiques, and collectibles, all to fund housing for veterans across the Olympic Peninsula. Call to donate today, 360-374-5252, or visit sargesveteransupport.org to learn more. Your generosity changes lives.
At Olympic Peninsula Title, we wear a lot of different hats. We are investigators, analysts, and the protectors of property rights. We seek a high standard of accuracy. Our commitment to exceptional service strengthens our mission. We reduce risk. We stay on top of current issues affecting property rights. We sweat the small stuff to give our customers the peace of mind they deserve. When it's time to choose a title company to close your transaction, opt for Olympic Peninsula Title.
The new year and Tri-State will be a new neighbor. Need a new roof or other exterior project? Tri-State's there for you every step of the way with hundreds of 5-star reviews from very happy clients. Go to tristate.pro or 253 Roofing. We'll be out tomorrow. And right now you'll get free gutters with full roof replacement. Call Tri-State 253 Roofing and start off the new year with an affordable new roof.
Tri-State Roofing, we got you covered.
This is Brandon Johnson, General Manager of Price Ford in Port Angeles. 2025 is going to be a great year. To have a great year, you need to have a great start, and that's exactly what we're going to do.
Does that mean huge discounts and really low rates?
Yes, it does. Up to $5,000 off Bronco Sport, $7,500 off F-150, $7,500 off Super Duty, $7,600 off Escape, and $8,500 off Bronco. Plus, rates as low as 0% for 72 months.
Plus, our pre-owned inventory has never been better. Visit us at priceford.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. President Trump is not backing away from his tariff policies despite a sharp downturn on Wall Street. White House correspondent Greg Clugston has that report.
In the face of tumbling stock prices and increased worries about a recession, the White House says the president is unwavering in his approach to tariffs and trade. Asked about the recent Wall Street losses, the president said markets are going to go up and down. He went on to say that he believes what his administration is doing is the right thing to do, even if it means a little, in his words, disturbance. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Also at townhall.com, Senate Republicans are optimistic that they will be able to pass a continuing resolution to keep the government up and running through September. More from Bob Agnew.
Senator Marsha Blackburn says there's only one reason for Democrats not to support the bill.
Schumer wants another Schumer shutdown.
Because she says he's hoping that would make President Trump and the Republicans look bad.
But he's just so wrong on this.
Wrong about how the voting public would respond to a shutdown. After all, Blackburn says poll after poll shows
the American people agree with the steps that we're taking to get this economy back on track.
A vote is expected as soon as Republicans can muster the handful of Democrat votes they'll need to get the bill over the finish line. Bob Agnew reporting.
Egg prices again reaching a record high in February as the bird flu continues to run rampant. Easter and Passover are approaching. The latest monthly consumer price index showed a dozen grade A eggs cost an average of $5.90 in U.S. cities. In February, that's up 10.4% from a year ago. That eclipsed January's record high price of $4.95. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 45 points, the NASDAQ Composite adding 249. More at townhall.com.
Hey everybody, Charlie Kirk here. As executive director of Turning Point USA, a national radio host, podcaster, husband, and father of two, my schedule is about as crazy as it can possibly get. 2 years ago, I made the decision to take control of my health, and I chose PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition because I needed a plan that fit my hectic lifestyle. I travel a lot, and my schedule changes every week, so I need something simple. They customized a plan for my body and my schedule, and I quickly lost 30 pounds. Now I have the energy and focus to get through my busy day. PhD will help you too. They won't let you fail. Just give them a call, schedule your weight loss consultation, and see if their program is right for you. Call 855-696-2020. That's 855-696-2020. The first 11 callers who mention the word healthy will get 2 weeks added to their weight loss package. Call 855-696-2020 and mention the word healthy, or visit them at myphdweightloss.com. That is myphdweightloss.com. It worked for me, and it can work for you. myphdweightloss.com.
As we hear in this BBC report, the center-right Democrats have won the most votes in Greenland's election. The balloting held in the shadow of President Trump's stated goal of gaining control of the island.
Only around 40,000 people were registered to vote in this election, but it's been brought into the international spotlight because of President Trump. His desire to take over Greenland has reignited the debate about its independence. While the island is self-governing, its foreign, defence and monetary policy is controlled by Denmark. Surveys suggest a majority of Greenlanders support independence, as do most of the main political parties on the island. But while some Greenlandic politicians believe President Trump's comments could give them leverage in negotiations with Denmark, others think that retaining those ties, at least for now, could be beneficial.
The BBC's Alfie Tobit with that report. Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. A Texas appeals court has halted the execution of a man who has spent more than 30 years on death row and had been sent to die by lethal injection this week. The Texas Court of Criminal Appeals issued a stay of execution for 67-year-old David Leonard Wood, convicted in the killings of 6 women that were found buried in the desert near El Paso. The court put Wood's execution on pause. A house cat named Aggie found her way back to her owner 2 months after the L.A. wildfires.
Catherine Kiefer had feared the worst for her beloved pet after the Palisades blaze left her home in ashes. But a TikTok video with more than 1 million likes showed the emotional moment 82-year-old Kiefer and Aggie reunited at a veterinary hospital. TikTok users have since asked for daily updates on the cat, which has undergone several blood transfusions. Aggie's expected to be released to her family on Thursday. Keith Peters reporting.
More on these stories at townhall.com. I'm John Scott.
This is the Newsradio KONP Noon Report.
Todd Ortloff in the KONP News Center. Here's a look at what's happening on this Wednesday, March 12th. Authorities have solved a cold case nearly 18 years after a British Columbia teenager went missing on the North Olympic Peninsula. The Clallam County Sheriff's Office and Mission RCMP confirmed that human remains found here in Washington State in 2008 belonged to 17-year-old Jeffrey Sertel, who had disappeared from his Mission, BC home in 2007. Jeffrey vanished on April 29th of that year, with his family believing he left on his bicycle while they slept. A year later, remains washed ashore on the Olympic Peninsula, but DNA testing at the time failed to identify them. In 2024, using crowdfunding support, authorities sent the DNA to a private Texas lab for advanced testing, and early this year, forensic genealogy linked the remains to Jeffrey's extended family, leading to a positive identification. Authorities say no foul play is suspected, but the circumstances of his disappearance remain unclear. Investigators are urging anyone with information to come forward. A lack of jail staff is affecting the chain gang program. It has prompted the Clallam County Sheriff's Office to request a reduction in state funding for litter cleanup efforts that help pay for that operation. The county's contract with the State Department of Ecology has now been amended, cutting funding for the program by some $70,000 down to just $93,000. County Corrections Chief Deputy Don Wenzel briefed Clallam County Commissioners this week.
Due to our critical staffing levels, we haven't been able to support operating our crews and get reimbursement through ecology. So we had to submit an amount that we felt was acceptable to deobligate for ecology so they could use it for other programs out there. So that's what this is, just an amended agreement.
Wenzel says the adjustment reflects a reality. The jail's limited staffing has prevented the chain gang from operating at its intended capacity. As a result, fewer cleanup missions have been conducted, reducing the amount of Department of Ecology reimbursement money the county can get. Under the revised agreement, the number of work hours will be reduced to 500, with an expected 10 miles of roads cleaned, 10 illegal dumps cleared, and 500 pounds of litter collected. Officials say those figures represent a significant reduction compared to initial program expectations. However, Wenzel says he's hopeful staff levels might be rebounding to the good side. He noted that a recent feature story on King 5 News has gotten the phones ringing at the sheriff's office.
So we had our King 5 segment, and within 2 days of that, I've had over a dozen interested applicants, whether they've signed up for testing, emailed me, phone called me. So that actually did drum up some interest. So I do have a kind of an excitement on how that may be able to get our staffing back up to where we can get our departments out there.
Sequim City Council this week approving the official renaming of the skate park at Carrie Blake Park. The park will now be known as the Marky Mark Simpson Skate Park in honor of Mark Simpson, a former pro skateboarder and dedicated advocate for the skateboarding community in Sequim. Mark played a pivotal role in revitalizing the skate park, launching fundraising efforts, securing local business support, and fostering a welcoming, safe environment for local kids. His leadership extended beyond the park through his nonprofit, Sequim Youth Skate Park, and his service with local organizations and mentoring young people. Simpson passed away in April of last year at the age of 52. He got his first skateboard sponsorship at the age of 14, and as a world-class skateboarder, he moved from Oregon to Seattle in the 1990s and eventually relocated to Sequim in the early 2000s. In other news, Washington Governor Bob Ferguson is pledging to voluntarily limit his emergency powers after a bill he supported to impose formal restrictions stalled in the state legislature this session. Ferguson's move marks a shift from his predecessor, Governor Jay Inslee, who exercised broad emergency powers for almost 3 years during the COVID-19 pandemic. In a statement yesterday, Ferguson said he would end any state of emergency after 60 days if 3 of the 4 legislative caucus leaders requested it. If an emergency lasted more than 120 days while the legislature is not in session, he pledged to call a special session to allow lawmakers to vote on ending it. The announcement follows the apparent failure of Senate Bill 5434, which would have allowed the legislature to terminate an emergency order with a majority vote. Washington's juvenile justice facilities are overcrowded and dangerous, but one bill that just passed the state Senate might help. Tracy Ellis explains.
Senator John Braun's legislation would let officials transfer dangerous inmates over 18 to adult prisons and give staff better tools to manage infractions.
Unlike our Department of Corrections, there is no infraction management system that allows the folks running these facilities to manage behavior in a way that prevents bad behavior, I guess is how I would put it. This helps get that in place.
The Centralia Republicans' bill also creates options for lower-risk inmates to transition back into society through residential programs and work release. Braun says the goal is to improve safety for both staff and inmates while supporting rehabilitation.
If you go there today, you'll find that we are really not doing our part in terms of getting folks back on track, whether it's education, whether it's counseling, all the things that go into getting folks back on a good path. They're essentially not happening because it's too crowded.
The bill passed the Senate unanimously and now heads to the House. In Olympia, I'm Tracy Ellis.
Also in Olympia, lawmakers voting Tuesday to fix a problem with a state program guaranteeing paid family and sick leave. Dan Frizzell explains.
Washington's paid family and medical leave program has been popular with workers since its inception 5 years ago, but studies revealed that employees at smaller businesses have often been reluctant to take advantage of it, even though they've paid for it. Higher paid workers at most large employers enjoy knowing their job will still be there when they return, but few of their small shop counterparts have that assurance. Representative Liz Berry introduced legislation this session to close that loophole.
Today we passed a bill to provide all workers in the state of Washington job protection when they take paid family and medical leave. Workers pay 73% of the premium, but over half of those workers are not utilizing the program because their jobs don't have to be there when they get back. And now we're guaranteeing that every worker that enjoys the program, their employer must keep their job open for when they return.
Berry, a Democrat from Seattle, chairs the House Labor and Workplace Standards Committee at the Capitol. Her bill was approved by the House on Tuesday and now moves to the Senate for further consideration. In Olympia, Dan Frizzell.
This is Newsradio KONP.
It's time for Your Port of PA Today. A look inside the port and share what's in it for you.
Hello, this is Colleen McAleer, District 1 Port Commissioner. I'm proud the port has over 100 years of bringing people, resources, and industry together to foster economic prosperity for Clallam County residents. A great example of this has been the port's partnership with Stay Beecraft as they move their North American headquarters to the Port of PA. Our area offers numerous advantages for businesses: a deep-water port, a strong qualified workforce, and competitive operational costs that attract domestic and international businesses to our area. We're continuing to foster economic prosperity for the people that call Clallam County home. If you have questions or comments, please send them to hello@portofpa.com.
This has been Your Port of PA Today. Explore portofpa.com.
Your community-minded friends at First Fed bring you the Community Corner, highlighting good things happening right here in our area.
The Clothes Closet in Port Angeles is accepting new or gently used men's and women's clothing and bedding. Located at the First United Methodist Church, the Clothes Closet offers clothing for anyone in need and happily accepts men's t-shirts, tennis shoes, socks, underwear, warm coats, and small-size jeans. Women's clothing and bedding are also needed. No suits or dress shoes, please. Donations are accepted Tuesday, Wednesday, and Fridays or by appointment. The Clothes Closet is located at First United Methodist Church, 7th and Laurel in Port Angeles. And a big thank you from Habitat Clallam. With your help, they've built over 35 houses and counting. Visit Habitat for Humanity stores in Port Angeles and Sequim or go to their new online store, shophabitatclallamonline.org.
Community Corner, presented by First Fed.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by All Weather Heating and Cooling. Daytime highs approaching 47 this afternoon under overcast skies with rain showers likely. Winds out of the northwest 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance of rain showers tonight, lows around 35, cloudy skies. Overcast tomorrow, rain showers likely, high of 46. Upper 40s Friday and Saturday with scattered showers possible both days. Taking a look at the extended forecast, 48 Sunday, 48 Monday, and 48 on Tuesday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently, it's 46 degrees.
Kraken Hockey back on the air this evening, 7 o'clock airtime here on News Radio KONP. Our hockey, Kraken Hockey, all season long, brought to you locally by Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales in Sequim. Now the rest of the sports, here's Robert Workman.
The NBA's best, the Cavaliers, topped the Nets 109-104 for their 15th consecutive victory. If that sounds familiar, it's the second time Cleveland has won 15 in a row this season. Darius Garland had 18 of his game-high 30 points in the fourth quarter for Coach Kenny Anderson.
We needed him. Then I told him, I'm going to take you out to get you 2 minutes rest, and we couldn't take him out because he was playing so well.
Elsewhere, the Pacers stopped the Bucks 115-114. Tyrese Halliburton's 4-point play with 3 seconds left was the difference. Pelicans pounced on the Clippers, a triple-double for Zion Williamson, and the Pistons pounded the Wizards. Hockey, the Capitals down the Ducks 7-4 to maintain their spot atop the NHL standings. Alexei Protas had a hat trick, Alex Ovechkin 3 assists. The West-leading Jets kept pace, edging the Rangers 2-1. The NCAA basketball tournament slowly filling up its 68-team field. 4 more automatic bids secured last night. UNC Wilmington won the Coastal Athletic Association tournament. Robert Morris added the Horizon League tourney title to its regular season crown. Gonzaga took the West Coast Conference honors for the 11th time in 13 years, and in the Northeast Conference, it was St. Francis, the Red Flash from Pennsylvania, just 16-17 on the season, but they go to the NCAAs on a 6-game winning streak after beating Central Connecticut, which had owned the nation's longest active win streak at 14 straight. Champions will be crowned this evening in the Patriot League and the Big Sky and Southland conferences. Then we get 12 more automatic bids on Saturday and 5 on Sunday, along with 37 at-large teams to fill out the field. That's Wednesday Sports.
Not all windows are created equal. Fibrex proves it. Exclusive to Renewal by Andersen, Fibrex is 2 times stronger than vinyl, resists warping, cracking, and fading, and delivers year-round comfort. Ideal for the Northwest. That's why we have the most 5-star ratings in window and door replacement. We handle everything. Design, installation, and a rock-solid warranty. Don't wait. Call 206-249-9820 now, or visit ChooseRenewal.com to schedule your free consultation.
That's a wrap for the 40th annual KONP Home Show. A huge thank you to the thousands of attendees who explored, shopped, and connected with over 120 incredible vendors. You made this event a home run. And speaking of heavy lifting, major kudos to the Kiwanis clubs for, well, literally carrying the load and doing such heavy lifting and parking duty. You guys are lifesavers. Special thanks to our presenting sponsor, Clallam PUD, for keeping the energy flowing, both at the show and in our community. And a big shout out to our participating sponsors, Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales, and the Lumber Traders family of businesses, Angelus Millwork, Hartnagel, and Angelus Rentals. Your support makes this event possible. So until next year, keep building, creating, and dreaming big. The KONP Home Show will return in March of 2026.
Leeds Farm Supply's home show specials are here. Get 20% off pet toys, BOGO 50% off Montana Silver and Montana West, and 15% off gardening supplies and planters. Plus, score amazing home show pricing on select Bad Boy, LS, Husqvarna, Wacker Neuson, and Gravely tractors, along with Snake River and G&B trailers. Not to mention their already great pricing in every other department they have, which is a lot. But hurry, these deals disappear March 22nd. Don't miss out. Stop by Leeds Farm Supply today.
News Radio KONP Business.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Today, investors are mulling over a downside surprise on inflation. The Consumer Price Index for February rose just 0.2%. Economists were looking for 0.3. Traders are betting it could give the Fed more room to cut interest rates this year. Markets today are higher, up between a fraction and 1.2%. McDonald's may be known as fast food, but the company's CEO thinks it could be faster. He says the burger giant is moving to get new menu items and technology to its restaurants more quickly. Recent efforts to introduce new sandwiches have taken years, and Chris Kempczynski says that's too long. Lyft plans to launch a simplified version of its app for elderly riders called Lyft Silver. It'll be out later this year. Bloomberg has learned Lyft Silver will include a user experience designed for seniors with a simple new look and easy access to support. I'm Nancy Lyons, Bloomberg Radio.
Make the grocery list? Check. Buy dog food? Check. Schedule my colonoscopy? If you're between the age of 45 and 75, it's time to add a colonoscopy screening to your to-do list. A routine colonoscopy is the best way to detect and prevent colorectal cancer. So keep on track with your health by talking with your primary care provider about a colonoscopy screening today. Learn more at olympicmedical.org/colonoscopy.
At McCrory Carpet One, they know how important it is to feel confident in your flooring selection. You want to know it's going to look exactly the way you want it once it's installed in your home. That's why they offer their one-of-a-kind guarantee, making sure you're 100% happy that the floor you've created together is as beautiful as the one in your dreams. If not, they'll replace it for free. That's what they call the Beautiful Guarantee. Peace of mind is yours with every installation. Always priced right, always done right. McCrory Carpet One.
News Radio KONP. Traffic and roads.
Back at the Clallam Transit Dispatch Center. That's where Steve's standing by, watching the noontime traffic for us. Good afternoon, Steve.
Hi there. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, kind of a busy day downtown Port Angeles, especially. You're going to find a fair amount of traffic, especially in the downtown area right now. First Street, Front Street, both pretty busy. You're going to just have some delays at the stoplight, so just kind of plan ahead as you're making your way through. Also, headed out of Port Angeles with the lane revisions and the lowered speed limit there at Baker Street, also out towards Brook Avenue, that little section through there. A little slow going through that area, and it's starting to back up just a little bit out there. So be prepared as you make your way through there. Beyond that, though, Highway 101's good all the way into Sequim. You should be up to the speed limit. Beyond Sequim, Hood Canal Bridge, good to go. Nothing scheduled this afternoon as far as marine openings. State Ferry's also running on time today. If you're headed out to the west end, 101, no real problems all the way out to the Forks area. Just some rain showers on the way out, but light to moderate traffic all the way. So everybody take care. Be safe out there this afternoon. This is Steve reporting live from Clallam Transit for KONP.
All right, thanks, Steve. Well, the gorgeous house on the California coast owned by the inventor of Hot Pockets is still on the market. Many real estate pros thought the 11,000 square foot home in Newport Coast would be snapped up inside of a week, but it's still up. Paul Mirage is the inventor of Hot Pockets. He's asking $40 million for the home. It's got 6 bedrooms, 11 bathrooms, a range of high-end amenities, including a wine cellar, home gym, spa, elevator, infinity pools, and a tasting room. Now, Hot Pockets were invented by Paul and David Mirage, Jewish Iranian brothers who founded Chef America Incorporated in 1977 after they immigrated to the United States, I should say. Initially launched as Tasty Witch in 1980, the product was rebranded as Hot Pockets in 1983 and became a hit due to its patented crisping sleeve and its convenient microwave preparation. Chef America sold Hot Pockets to Nestle in 2002. Well, we're all looking for tried and true ways to boost our well-being, especially as we get older. Things like gut and brain health become important, as well as diet and exercise, all factors to take into consideration. And according to some new data, there's one kind of nut in particular that outshines the rest when it comes to healthy aging. Walnuts. Even after accounting for all the other variables that affect aging, walnuts were the only nut linked with a greater chance of healthy aging. A 4-year-long study included data from some 34,000 women in their late 50s and early 60s looking for links between nut consumption and healthy aging, and they found the one thing was walnuts they had in common for those who were aging healthy. Like,
if you're looking for a tech-related job, forget everything you've been told over the last 5 to 10 years. Training for software engineering, web development, IT support, and network administration is a dead end. It's a waste of your time and money. I'm Kim Commando for NetSuite. Download the free CFO's Guide to Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning now at netsuite.com/Kim. In a little over 2 years, artificial intelligence has reshaped the entire tech job market. It's happened so quickly that even most schools have been caught by surprise. The very first question that potential employees will hear is, can you work with AI, and to what extent? Approximately 40% of job postings require AI training and experience. By this time next year, more than 50%. And it's not just high-tech companies. Stockholders are expecting most large businesses to integrate AI. So no matter which way you turn, AI is already there. Why don't you go ahead and take a free AI class right now at MIT Online? And keep tech ahead with my free newsletter at getkim.com. What does the future hold for business? Ask 9 experts and you'll get 10 answers. Rates rising or falling, inflation being up or down. Can someone please invent a crystal ball? Until then, over 41,000 businesses have future-proofed their business with NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud ERP, bringing accounting, financial management, inventory, and HR all into one fluid platform. With one unified business management suite, there's one source of truth, giving you the visibility and control you need to make quick decisions. With real-time insights and forecasting, you're peering into the future with actionable data. When you're closing the books in days, not weeks, you're spending less time looking backward and more time on what's next. And speaking of opportunity, you can now download the CFO's Guide to AI and Machine Learning at netsuite.com/Kim. The guide is free for you at netsuite.com/Kim. That's netsuite.com/Kim. netsuite.com/Kim.
I'm John Tesh, and coming up, did you know a whopping 40% of online reviews are fake? So in a moment, I'll share tips to help you separate fake reviews from the real ones. It's next in today's Intelligence for Your Life Minute.
Is that a new Samsung Galaxy A15 5G?
Yeah, I got it for free when I joined Cricket Nation.
Sounds pretty great.
At Cricket, anyone can get a new phone when they switch.
Whoa.
With a high-quality camera, meaning more flattering selfies for all. And super fast 5G, so you can post them for all to see. Your friends, your family, your ex. Free phone! Free phone!
Okay, I'll switch.
Welcome to Cricket Nation.
Cricket 5G is not available everywhere. Must bring your number to Cricket on a $60 a month voice plan. First month service charge and tax due at sale. Fees, terms, and other restrictions apply. See cricketwireless.com for details.
Of course, you know, while researching something online, whether it's a product, a restaurant, or a hotel, most of us will check out the reviews. But now, according to PC Magazine, a full 40% of all online reviews are fake. So can you spot a fake review? Well, marketing professors at the UK's York University, they studied this and learned the hallmarks of fakery to look for. For example, fake reviews tend to be long and elaborate, like they're trying extra hard to be convincing. They also tend to contain multiple exclamation points and superlatives like prettiest, coolest, dirtiest. However, fake reviews also use mostly short, simple words that are easy to write. And finally, fake reviews tend to share unrelated stories involving their own family, like, I came here every summer as a kid, but now it's a disaster and not worth the visit. And that's the anatomy of fake online reviews. I'm John Tesh with today's Intelligence for Your Life Minute.
I pay no attention to what mattered most.
The Straight 102 is bringing country superstar Ty Herndon to Port Angeles.
Then to be living in a moment you would die for.
Ty takes the stage Thursday, March 13th at Field Arts and Events Hall for an unforgettable night of country music.
Oh, I don't know, but something tells me it must be love.
Get your tickets now. Visit fieldhallevents.org. fieldhallevents.org to secure your seat.
Her eyes are blue, her hair was long, 64. She was born in Baton Rouge. Her father's tall, her mother's gone. She moved out west.
Ty Herndon live in Port Angeles March 13th. Brought to you by the Straight 102, the Peninsula's country station.
From the Strait to the Sound, Newsradio KONP, Port Angeles Squim, is celebrating 80 years serving our community.
From
Radio
ABC
Pacific
News,
Station.
I'm Michelle Franzen. Back and forth trade tariffs on steel and aluminum after the U.S. implemented the 25% tariff on metals. U.S. allies now reciprocating with their own hikes. The impact to businesses and Americans still uncertain. ABC's Mary Alice Parks is at the White House.
I mean, the reality is some of this uncertainty around tariffs is having real consequences in the stock market. Americans are watching investments of theirs shaken, retirement accounts impacted by the ups and downs of the stock market. Yesterday alone, Wall Street closing, the Dow closing nearly 500 points down. I mean, these are real-world consequences.
Russia carrying out fresh attacks across Ukraine today. It comes a day after Ukraine agreed to a U.S. proposal for a 30-day ceasefire.
President Trump expressed optimism about the ceasefire deal reached between the U.S. and Ukraine, but says the ball is now in Russian President Vladimir Putin's hands.
We had a great success yesterday. We have a full ceasefire. If it kicks in, we have to see. It's up to Russia now.
The president said Tuesday he would likely talk to Putin this week. He again threatened economic punishment on Russia, but said he wouldn't do that because he wants to see peace. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
In New York City, a brief federal court hearing today ended without resolution in the case of Mahmoud Halil, a permanent U.S. resident that the Trump administration is working to deport for taking part in anti-Israel protests at Columbia University last year. Here's ABC's Aaron Katursky.
He didn't actually do anything other than demonstrate with hundreds of others at Columbia University. Of course, the administration sees it quite differently. They believe that he's inciting Hamas rhetoric, and they find that a danger to national security. But his lawyers say that there's just no evidence of that.
The Dow closing down 82 points. You're listening to ABC News.
This statement has not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
When it comes to my lifestyle and diet, I don't always make the smartest choices. Touchdown! Woo! Hey, how about another round and some more chips? But when it comes to taking care of my liver, I do make one very smart choice. Active liver tablets from New Nordic. I used to have real issues with my liver, and at my last checkup, my doc was concerned about my numbers. But since adding a once-a-day active liver tablet, my gut's better, I feel great, and my doctor's happy. I ask a lot of my liver, so the least I can do to say thanks is a daily dose of Active Liver.
You ask a lot of your liver, so give it the support it needs with Active Liver. You can find Active Liver at Amazon.com, or for a volume discount, visit NewNordicUSA.com. Go to NewNordicUSA.com, Amazon, or ask for Active Liver at your local CVS. New year, new you, New Nordic.
In Texas, the measles outbreak growing in Gaines County. There are 223 confirmed cases, and now there's a push to get shots in the arms with clinics set up far from the hot zone.
The Texas capital is nearly 400 miles from the epicenter of the outbreak, but even in Austin,
the demand's there.
Austin pharmacist Angela Solis has been ordering and reordering the MMR vaccine.
It's being given to adults who don't know their vaccine status. It's being given to children before the recommended schedule now because of the outbreak.
ABC's Jim Ryan. Mideast envoy Steve Witkoff hoping to get a breakthrough in stalled talks to continue the Gaza ceasefire. He's in Qatar today, hoping to advance a deal that secures the release of all living hostages. Israel's prime minister supporting that extension. Hamas, though, refusing to do so. The terror group says it wants to hold on to all 58 hostages as it negotiates the end of the war and Israel's army's full withdrawal.
President Trump's Mideast envoy joining day 2 of the Gaza ceasefire talks in Doha. Steve Witkoff reportedly working to extend the ceasefire for another 60 days. Hamas would free at least 10 living hostages, including American Edan Alexander. Israel would release hundreds of Palestinian prisoners and lift its ban on humanitarian aid to Gaza. Witkoff's biggest challenge will be getting Hamas on board. Jordana Miller, ABC News, Jerusalem.
I'm Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Looking for affordable home ownership on the peninsula? Mountain View Homes has you covered. Enjoy high-quality craftsmanship at 40% less than traditional homes. You heard me, 40% less. We offer full-service land packages from dirt to turnkey, delivering beautiful, efficient manufactured homes on your chosen site. With 3 convenient locations, including Carlsberg, we're here to serve you. Visit mtviewhomes.com today to learn more. Mountain View Homes, where affordability meets quality.
During the annual Swain's Get Ready for Spring sale, you'll see huge savings on all things spring. Find the perfect color for your paint project because spring is the perfect time to spruce up your home with a brand new look. Clark & Kensington, Regal, and Benjamin Moore have you covered in that department with $7 off per gallon. Swain's Get Ready for Spring sale is happening now through March 25th, so don't miss your chance to save on all things spring.
KONP News brought to you by RE/MAX Evergreen Real Estate. Outstanding agents, outstanding results. 457-6600. Authorities have solved an 18-year-old cold case on the North Olympic Peninsula. The Clallam County Sheriff's Office confirming that human remains found in 2008 belonged to 17-year-old Jeffrey Sertel, who disappeared from his British Columbia home in 2007. Advanced DNA testing funded through crowdfunding linked the remains to his family. No foul play suspected, but investigators are seeking any additional information. In Squim, the City Council renaming the skate park at Carrie Blake Park in honor of Mark Simpson, a former pro skateboarder and community advocate. Simpson, who died last year, played a key role in revitalizing the park and mentoring the young skaters.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by Olympic Game Farm. Rain showers likely this afternoon, otherwise cloudy skies expected. Daytime highs approaching 47, northwesterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Cloudy skies expected tonight, chance of rain showers, lows level off around 35. Rain showers likely tomorrow, daytime highs approaching 46, overcast skies. Upper 40s Friday and Saturday with scattered showers possible both days. Taking a look at the extended forecast, 48 Sunday, 48 Monday, and 48 on Tuesday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently, it's 46 degrees.
It's the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP. Now, here's Todd.
All right, welcome to the program. Once a month, we talk real estate with our real estate pro, May Graves, who joins us in this first segment on this Wednesday to talk about buying and selling houses and maybe some of the things and tricks that are causing things to move or not move. We'll get into that in just a minute. May, good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Let's talk about status of the market first. We always kind of start there. How are things looking out there in Port Angela Squim?
Sure. Well, we have sprung forward now, not quite into spring, but the market is telling us it's ready. Let me just go over a few of the stats. I'll give you Port Angeles, and then I'll give you Squim, and we'll kind of do a little compare-contrast. So Port Angeles, we sold 31 homes for the month of February. We're now 2 weeks into March. In January, we sold 33. So seems like it's sitting about the same, right? But the median days on market for February was only 20, where January was 40. So what causes that longer days? It's more buyers coming to the market, some of that inventory getting burned through, that, new things coming on that are moving. But the median home price was only $550 for February, where January is $585. And, you'd have to dive in a lot more to know that. I don't think that's going to stick around, just a little dip there. Over asking about the same, about a third of the homes. There were 10 of the 31 that were at or over asking for February in Port Angeles, and about 97% of asking price. I remember when I bought my, maybe my first home, maybe my second home, we wanted to kind of write a lowball offer. And I remember my agent at the time, who just retired, Barb Butcher in Squim, she said, statistically, you see about 3 or 4% off of asking. So, if we get crazy, they just won't even respond to our offer. Mm-hmm. So it's good to know that that's still kind of the case. So they were selling for 97%. 12 of the 31 were to cash buyers. And something interesting I noticed in Port Angeles, half of the homes sold are inside the city limits. And of course, that median home price is much lower, only $410. But you think about the city, the lots are smaller, the homes are smaller, they're older. You get outside in the county, and the prices go up. And then for Squim, So we sold 31 homes in February. In January was 33, so sitting about the same. Median days on the market, just about the same. Most of it kind of stayed the same for Squim. Actually, let me look here. 31. Yeah, isn't that ironic? Price per square foot, right on target. Everything is really just kind of evening out, staying the same. But we're getting into spring, and we will see some spikes.
Right. And that was my next question. It is, a lot of this is cyclical. We had a little bit of a cold snap in the middle of January there that maybe kept some people from getting out and about, snow and all of that sort of thing.
Yep.
That does have an effect, doesn't it? Especially when it's a longer than a week impact of stuff.
And
right?
you can't really see, the landscape, that you can't see much in the neighborhood. Everything's just coated in white. Yeah.
So as a broker or an agent or someone who's out there trying to sell or buy real estate or help your clients, what do you do this time of year? I mean, knowing that this is an impending kind of a surge that usually comes in the spring, what's your advice?
Well, it's definitely picking up. We're seeing things coming on the market every day, but it is cyclical. So in the winter, we see the winter inventory kind of dying off, and then new life in the spring, new things coming on, new buyers that are ready to start making a move. The days are longer. So a lot of people try to time the market. When's the perfect time to list their house? And we can see trends. Like, for instance, one of the biggest closing months in Port Angeles last year was June. And then, June was the biggest. And then the runner-up was August. So we kind of ramp up to that, crescendo there. June, July actually takes a little dip for whatever reason. I'm not sure if it's a graduation or Father's Day.
I think it's vacation time, probably.
Right?
Yeah, sometime.
Probably people vacationing. Yeah, so if you think about, June and August being the two months with the most closings, and you think about in escrow for 30 days.
Right, so roll that back. I mean, you're talking about when the things are signed off on. That process started a month earlier usually.
A month earlier, and the homes were on the market, those median days. So, maybe 30 days, 20 to 40 days on the market before you get an offer.
So you're talking April.
Yeah, we're
for a June
there.
final sale, right? So you're coming right on it. Right?
Yes, and then if you back it up a little bit more and say, hey, if we went on the market on this date, we still have to get the house prepped, get photos taken, get the marketing in place. So really, you want to look at least 2 months, maybe 2.5 months before your money's on the table, you're ready to close and move on to your next project.
So selling, get on it now is what I'm hearing you say if you're thinking about it. Especially if you want to time this thing into when, the feeding frenzy, if you will, it starts going where it gets the busiest time of the year.
Yeah, then we have another one. Like November is one of the biggest closing months as well. Okay. Like in Squim, it was double of what January was. 55 homes sold in November last year. And that's because, the same thing, kind of that initial spring inventory dies off, and there's still some things laying around, and people are more motivated because they want to buy before the holidays, or they want to get in before the first of the year for tax reasons, or they just have, for whatever reason, November's good too.
Now, is there really, in the age of the internet and what we have now, and people can sit, at any hour and shop from their house, wherever it might be, is market timing really the same thing as it used to be? I mean, putting it out there, you could list any time really and probably reach a good number of people.
Yeah, you can. Your odds are better. Putting your money on the table where you have more buyers, longer days to show. The house shows better in the spring. Things are greening up. But absolutely, we don't really get to shut down and go on vacation for a couple of months. It would be nice.
It wasn't long ago that was kind of how it worked in real estate. As the winter came, it's like, well, don't even bother because the houses don't look great now and people are not out shopping.
Things sell year-round in our area. It's still a destination people want to come.
Yep. Right. Okay. So what is there a category, a price point that is selling more than another right now? I mean, what are you seeing as you look at the market right now?
Well, I would say probably that median home price. It's kind of the bread and butter, the meat and potatoes of it. You've got the outliers, a lot of those things that are over $1 million, or you're always going to have good activity at the lower price points because there's people who want to invest, turn it into a rental, flip it, or it's a first-time home buyer, and with interest rates where they are, it just makes it a bit more affordable. But once you get over probably like that 800 price point, then you're a little bit more at the tip of the iceberg, and things do slow down. So if you see a big spike in inventory, those houses will sit longer. Even though they look like they're priced right, there's more of them.
Okay. Your advice to sellers right now, then, we kind of already alluded to it. Now might be a good time if you're thinking about in the next few months to do it. This would be a good time to get ready to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. We kind of walk it backwards. In fact, I just talked to someone yesterday. They are leaving to Scotland for 3 weeks, and they thought, we're going to wait till we get back to start doing all this, but then it's going to take another month. And so we just came up with a different strategy on the fly. I kind of call it like the concierge service. Like, hey, we'll help you do all of it. You go ahead and go to Scotland. We're going to have somebody come in, do a sale. We'll have somebody pack. We'll have somebody do the art, whatever it takes, and just get it moving. Because if we wait too long, the inventory grows, and you can look backwards at things that sold and say, well, it looks like it's priced right. Here's one that's almost identical that sold last month. But if the inventory grows and you're only selling, let's say you sell 2 or 3 in a certain neighborhood every month, and there's 6 on the market, 3 of them are going to sit. You don't want to be one of those 3.
You want to be careful that you're not getting in too much competition with other things that are, that's, I guess if we talk market timing, that might be the best part about the best info on market timing.
Right, is to look at what inventory is out there. And historically, how many homes sell in my neighborhood every month? Like a lot of agents, I don't know that they know to look at that. It's not something that you hear a lot. But to look at how many homes are on the market and how many do we sell month over month in that neighborhood. If we only sell 3 and there's 6 on the market, 3 will sit. Do we want to be one of the 3, or do we want to sell? So it's not always about lowest price. It's about best value. Well, it's always about best value, right?
Ultimately, right, yeah.
Right.
Okay, let's flip this around. Let's talk about someone comes to you and says, hey, we're looking to buy. What's your advice right now for folks who are shopping to buy?
So sometimes they come in their contingent, so meaning they need to sell their house before they buy a house. And that's tough in a market that's balanced or that's still a seller's market, because if it's spring, most sellers don't want to take their house off the market in the hopes that you'll get yours sold, because if you don't, they just took their house out of the lineup for other buyers. So I would say, get your house on the market, get your marketing out there, get some people through there. So if you do want to write a contingent offer, at least you can go to the seller's agent and say, hey, we're on the market. We've had 7 showings on day 1. We priced it aggressively. And if we need to do a reduction, we will. We really want your house. And then incentivize it. Maybe you say, we'll release our earnest money to you, which some of those words people are like, I don't remember what that is. It's been a while since I bought. But that's that deposit you put down when you buy. Maybe you release that to say, hey, we've got skin in the game. Wait for us. We want your home.
All right. Buyer's market or seller's market right now locally?
It's feeling kind of balanced right now. Okay. And, it's been a bit of a roller coaster, really, for the last, more than a year. We just don't know from month to month what's coming down the pike. It's not super consistent. And that has to do with election year. It has to do with interest rates. It has to do with supply and demand. It has to do with weather. It has to do with wars. It has to do with a lot of different factors.
So are you nervous right now, kind of what's happening just in general? Not being political in any sense, but as this is your business. It has an effect. What are your thoughts?
I'm not. It's not my nature, really. However, I am hearing some rattle, some scuttlebutt about new construction with tariffs, that will drive house prices up for new construction. If it's a national builder who has buying power, or maybe they have warehouses of materials, maybe it squeezes out the smaller builders. So there is some talk about that. Politics, our guess is always just our guess, but I'm thinking that this isn't going to be long term.
Yeah, but it still plays into people's short-term decision, perhaps, of even putting their toe in the market or even thinking about buying or selling because they see the headlines. They go, oh, I don't know, right? Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. And I heard this several years back, and I kind of adopted it. The best time to buy a house is always 5 years ago. So people who are waiting, I literally know people who sold their house in 2016 because they thought they were at the top of the market and they were going to wait for the market to crash, and they're still waiting, and they're in a rental since 2016.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's still your best investment, though, piece of real estate.
Absolutely, because they're not making any more of it.
Yeah. Right. One last note before we run out of time. Land sales, are they up, down? How are raw land sales lately?
Yeah, land sales are pretty, I would say they're slow now. Last data I pulled, there was a lot of land inventory and sitting. It's still more expensive to build than to buy. When it flips to where it's more of a buyer's market, builders still have to stay building. This is their profession. This is their bread and butter. They've got a crew to keep working. So they sometimes have to dig into their profit. And so you can start getting a deal when you see the tables turn a little. But right now we're still pretty balanced. So land sitting.
Lots of land out there. And actually it sounds like a pretty good inventory to shop for existing homes too.
It's starting to build again. It was high, that kind of sold that out, and now it's coming back again.
Yep. All right. May, how do we get a hold of you if somebody wants to inquire about selling, buying, whatever?
Absolutely. Well, you can always just type it in Google, May Graves with an E, M-A-E. You can call me. I always tell people, just call me. You can tell I like to talk. So 360-461-1922. So you can call or text at 360-461-1922.
All right, May, we'll talk again in a couple of weeks, all right?
Sounds good. Thanks, Todd.
May Graves, our real estate pro there. We have her come in and analyze the markets for us, give us a little bit of advice, too. If you're thinking about real estate, she's the one to call. And we're going to take a break. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on Newsradio KONP.
I understand that as our world becomes more automated, receiving personalized service from a real person is more meaningful than ever. I'm Dan Shappy, and as a farmer's agent, I know a thing or two about how to help you select the insurance you want so you can
protect what matters most.
Call 360-681-0696 to learn more and chat with me, a real person and experienced farmer's agent, today.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Attention all moms-to-be. North Olympic Healthcare Network's board-certified physicians specializing in family medicine with obstetrics are here to guide and support you on your pregnancy journey. We provide personalized, compassionate care focused on building a long-lasting relationship before, during, and after pregnancy. From pre-pregnancy planning to childbirth to primary care for your whole family, we're with you for the journey. To learn more, visit nohn-pa.org/obstetrics.
Hey, it's Hannah from Browns. With spring right around the corner, we're closing out the old to make room for the new. If new shoes are on your list, Browns has closeouts on all your favorite brands like Ultra, Solomon, Scarpa, and Vask. We also have a large assortment of clearance winter hats to pick through. If traveling is in your future, look over our extended selection of Osprey travel luggage. Whatever your outdoor adventure, Browns is here to help you get outfitted. Browns Outdoor has been family-owned and outfitting the Olympic Peninsula for forever.
Decisions. Pepperoni, sausage, and mushrooms? Or maybe ham, pineapple, and bacon? Right now, Pizza Hut is giving you the power to choose with large 3-topping pizzas for just $11.99 each for delivery or carryout. Millions of topping combos, one unbeatable price. But don't wait, this deal won't be here forever. Order your $11.99 large 3-topping pizza now on the Pizza Hut app or at pizzahut.com. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Leeds Farm Supply's home show specials are here. Get 20% off pet toys, BOGO 50% off Montana Silver and Montana West, and 15% off gardening supplies and planters. Plus, score amazing home show pricing on select Bad Boy, LS, Husqvarna, Wacker Neuson, and Gravely tractors, along with Snake River and G&B trailers. Not to mention their already great pricing in every other department they have, which is a lot. But hurry, these deals disappear March 22nd. Don't miss out. Stop by Elite's Farm Supply today.
The Rock Gem Jewelry Show is happening this weekend. There'll be vendors offering a dazzling array of rocks, gems, fossils, crystals, beads, finished jewelry, and lapidary supplies. A rock alley for kids includes games, a treasure hunt, geode cutting, and rock painting and decorating. Fast Burrito will be offering food. Plus, there's a $1 raffle with over 40 great prizes. Come see us this weekend at the show on Saturday from 9 to 5 and Sunday from 10 to 4 at Vern Burton in Port Angeles. And as always, admission is free.
Welcome back to the program. Drug diet, why the FDA wants to shut down the compound GLP-1 industry. Start here, host Brad Milkey takes a look.
Over the last year or two, you might have seen more and more commercials like this one.
Weight loss by Hims, boys. You got to get on it, son.
Hims & Hers sells popular medications. It started by selling erectile dysfunction and hair growth meds to a younger, hipper male crowd. Then they started selling women's libido and birth control drugs. Now it's one of many such companies selling the newest coveted drug of the moment, GLP-1s, the diabetes drugs known as semaglutides and tirzepatides that have revolutionized obesity treatment.
We can now release these vial forms that are of both our 2.5 and 5 milligram dose that are going to be more available and at a lower price, about half.
You've probably heard of the brand names for these drugs: Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, Zepbound. Well, Hims & Hers sell some of those products, but they also sell compounded versions of these drugs at lower prices. Copies, basically, for when there are shortages of the brand names. Well, this week, the FDA is saying those copies days are numbered.
If you're taking one of these compounded drugs, just be aware that in the near future, you might not be able to get access to that compounded version.
This is Soni Salzman from ABC's medical unit, who's been studying this brewing battle between these compounding pharmacies and the drug makers they're copying.
Okay, so a compounding pharmacy is a pharmacy that originally was kind of intended to provide niche specialty pharmaceutical medicines.
She says back in the day, compounding pharmacies became a thing because they could make these small batch drugs that are not easily obtainable. Maybe there's a cancer drug, but some people are allergic to one of the ingredients. These pharmacies are allowed to make versions without that ingredient. Maybe it's a dosage specifically for kids, kind of like a generic version, but not.
Compounded drugs are not like generics in that they are not technically FDA approved. They are not FDA inspected.
Well, what happened a couple years ago, she says, is as Ozempic and Wegovy and Mounjaro and Zepbound were used to treat obesity, their popularity exploded to the point where these drug makers couldn't even keep up with demand.
There have been shortages since 2022 of these diabetes and weight loss drugs. Now, under FDA rules, when a drug is in shortage, compounders are allowed to make copies.
You got that? The FDA declared an official shortage, which opened the door for these compounded forms. Well, guess what? The FDA says the shortage is over.
There's no longer technically a shortage from the pharmaceutical company side, the manufacturing side. And so the FDA has taken those drugs off the shortage list, and they have set these dates now that are dates on the horizon for when compounders are expected to stop manufacturing.
Just this week, the FDA put out a memo saying companies that copy Ozempic and Wegovy will have to cease operation in the next couple months. Large-scale makers of Zepbound and Mounjaro products will have to wrap it up by the end of this month, and smaller state-licensed facilities only have until the end of next week. The compounders dispute the shortage is over. They've asked judges to step in, and some cases are still being considered, but an initial ruling declined to block the FDA. And you can see the brand name's point of view here, right? They developed these drugs. They patented them. They didn't know they'd become obesity phenomenons overnight. Well, now that they built bigger factories, they're not about to get crowded out by unapproved imitators. But think about the bigger picture here. There are now millions of Americans who have been introduced to GLP-1s because of these compounding pharmacies. In many cases, the compounded drugs are cheaper and more accessible. So what happens now? Are they expected to give up their obesity meds? What if they can't afford the FDA-approved versions?
I would say it's something for anyone who's taking a compounded version of a GLP-1 drug. It's something for you to raise with your doctor now, and it's something to think about whether or not you can start to get insurance coverage for that drug. If you can petition to get insurance coverage for the drug, obviously that makes it much more affordable.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on Newsradio KONP.
Hello, I'm a disabled veteran, and thanks to Sarge's Veteran Support, I live at Minsky Place in Sequim. Are you spring cleaning or downsizing? Turn your unused items into homes for heroes. Sarge's Veteran Support's thrift store in Forks accepts donations of furniture, household goods, antiques, and collectibles, all to fund housing for veterans across the Olympic Peninsula. Visit sargesveteransupport.org to learn more. Your generosity will change lives.
That's a wrap for the 40th annual KONP Home Show. A huge thank you to the thousands of attendees who explored, shopped, and connected with over 120 incredible vendors. You made this event a home run. And speaking of heavy lifting, major kudos to the Kiwanis Clubs for, well, literally carrying the load and doing such heavy lifting and parking duty. You guys are lifesavers. Special thanks to our presenting sponsor, Clallam PUD, for keeping the energy flowing, both at the show and in our community. And a big shout out to our participating sponsors, Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales, and the Lumber Traders family of businesses, Angelus Millwork, Hartnagel, and Angelus Rentals. Your support makes this event possible. So until next year, keep building, creating, and dreaming big. The KONP Home Show will return in March of 2026.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Uncertainty growing after U.S. tariffs on all steel and aluminum imports kicked in, leading to U.S. allies, along with China, to issue retaliatory hikes. The trade war weighing on the economy, along with a looming government shutdown deadline. That's this Friday. The House passed a bill to extend funding, but it still needs Senate approval. Democrats today say they will not get behind the bill due to funding cuts to key programs. ABC News political director Avery Harper has more.
The overall cuts to spending across the federal government. There are also issues that Democrats have with spending on health care, the possibility that it could affect health care access for those who are using the program Medicaid. But there's also this overarching concern that Congress is ceding power and the power of the purse to President Trump and Elon Musk.
On Wall Street, stocks ending mixed, making up for some of the losses this week due to positive data showing inflation is cooling. This is ABC News.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by Olympic Game Farm. Rain showers likely this afternoon, otherwise cloudy skies expected. Daytime highs approaching 47, northwesterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Cloudy skies expected tonight, chance of rain showers, lows level off around 35. Rain showers likely tomorrow, daytime highs approaching 46, overcast skies. Upper 40s Friday and Saturday with scattered showers possible both days. Taking a look at the extended forecast, 48 Sunday, 48 Monday, and 48 on Tuesday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently, it's 46 degrees.
Lots of things going on. Another thing that is happening is on March 14th, it's the 2025 Celebrate Education Gala. This is put on by the Port Angeles Education Foundation. We have a couple of folks very much involved with this year's event that we're going to talk to about that. First, we're going to talk with Shelley Zollman, who's helped organize this whole thing. And Shelley, it's good to see you again. It's been a while, but we got you back in the studio. So let's talk first a bit about the PA Education Foundation for folks who may not know what this group is.
Well, I always like to remind people, like if you've gone to school in Port Angeles and you had those green scholarship notebooks, well, we kind of have digitally inserted ourselves into the realm of helping distribute scholarship for kids. And last year we did $336,000.
Wow.
We are the largest awarder of scholarships, and that comes from like 25 or so endowments that we have from people. But we get the notebooks, we do the rubric, and basically allot scholarships to kids to students based on like the wishes of the money. So it's wonderful. I love it's like the best job in the world.
I
Actually,
was going to say, this is really, and so the Education Foundation really has evolved into it. I mean, it's really gotten into a big thing. I didn't realize how much and how you were involved in some of the other groups that give away scholarship money through you.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly. Yeah, we're the largest single distributor of scholarships in town, and it's through the endowments. And so in addition to the $336,000 we gave to graduating seniors, we also gave like $99,000 to kids who are continuing their education. Mm-hmm. And then school and teacher grants is another one of my favorite things. We did $77,000 last year to teachers and to administration to help them do things, field trips, art projects, things that they can't do just based on the funding. So it's a great deal.
And so that's where this gala comes in, right? Yes. This is how you raise some money so that you can afford those things to award to teachers and such, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The more and we're really trying to get more community engagement. I don't think people understand what the foundation does really, and how much we are able to touch students and teachers through the funding. It's a very well run organization, and it's great, and it goes right back to the kids.
Right. So a good way to find out more would be to come to the gala.
Yes.
Right.
Very much so.
Let's do some nuts and bolts about that, and then we're going to talk with the keynote speaker, who is a friend of mine and is always a good keynote speaker, to say the least. But this is happening March 14th at Field Arts and Events Hall. So take us through the evening.
We're going to have. We always try to get students involved as much as we can. Mm-hmm. So we'll have some band members there for some music. We have some of the Wildcat Cafe program from Lincoln there helping us as servers. So and it's going to be a great event. Food by New Day Catering, New Day Eatery, and then wine from Camaraderie Cellars. And then our friend Rob is going to inspire us.
And he will, because he always does. So Rob DeCou is here. And again, to keep it thematic with, everybody in this room is a PA High grad. I just realized that.
I know.
So there you go.
Plus 85.
So Rob DeCou is a good friend of mine, fellow Rotarian, and also is so involved in so many things. And you're going to be giving the keynote, I'll call it, to give a little inspiration. So Rob, tell us a bit about what your talk's going to be.
Yeah, no, thanks, Todd. To start with, I think this is a very exciting time to be a part of Port Angeles. I look at the bond and the levy grants passing. I think of the schools that are going to be built, the growth at community college, and just this energy in town. And so a lot of what I'm going to focus on is graduates like me who went through the high school. I was one of those people who got scholarships through the foundation, through different things, and those scholarships made a dramatic impact in what I could do afterwards. And there are so many students from the Port Angeles area that go through these high schools, and then they go off and do these amazing things around the world. And so I wanted to highlight a few graduates, share a little bit about my own story and how growing up here gave me a lot of the tenacity and that just that drive to do really hard things well. And one of the things I wanted to focus on a lot is that those small town values that we learn here and that we learn in our school systems, and we take those to our future careers, and those set us apart. Like the small town people and the way that we treat each other, our ethics, makes a big difference. And then especially those people when they come back to this community and pour back into it, it's just a really great community. I run into so many other fellow graduates and just want to share my story and some stories of some others and just inspire people about the education system here in Port Angeles and the foundation.
And you can speak firsthand to this because you were in the big city for a while and you came back, right?
Yeah, a little bit what I'm going to share. I spent 8 years in Los Angeles. So I started a creative studio down there. So we did projects with Hyperloops, the transportation systems, government agencies. We were featured on the Today Show when we did this Metro thing. So it had over 1 million hits on the safety video, so I might spotlight a 15-second video on that. And just having that big city experience and then coming back to Port Angeles and realizing how beautiful and just amazing this community is. And I'm just so grateful to be back and want to share that with the people around me.
And I'm grateful you're back too, by the way. But I did touch base with you while you were away once in a while when you were doing crazy things like trekking across the United States in 24 hours or whatever that was back then.
And I might share about a couple other crazy adventures coming up with sports.
Yeah, very good. So there you go. There's a great example. I think just hearing a little taste of what you might get, it's going to be worth getting a ticket to this event. And tickets are still available, right,
Tickets
Shelley?
are still available, yep. You can go to pa-ef.org. There's a link right on there, Celebrate Education. Yep, we'd love to have you. We'd love to have, I'd love to have more investment from community members because, like Rob said, we are here. We're like the walking, talking, breathing examples of what this community does. And I'm proud to be here, proud to be back after a little ways away. But yeah, I'd love for the community to understand what we do for the teachers and the students here.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of been really under the radar as far as the Education Foundation
it really is.
Even me, I didn't really understand, as you heard earlier, just the impact it's had. Yeah. So, all right. So head to the website, get a ticket. You can get it's $100 per person for an individual, but that gets you in, gets you the talk, gets you the dinner, gets you all of the stuff with it as well, and you're supporting a great cause. And you're still looking for sponsors too, right?
Yes, we love sponsors. We love our sponsors. Yes, and it's like I said, community investment, community engagement is really what we're trying to accomplish. For they understand.
All right, before I let you go, I have to ask Rob this. So what do you have planned next that's crazy?
So my big one coming up, I have two this year. I'm doing the 70-48. It's a 70-mile kayak in 48 hours with Vicki Heckman.
Yeah,
so from Tacoma to Port Townsend. So that's in June. And then I've been training for about a year and a half. I'm going to try to run over 100 miles in 24 hours at the Salt Creek Invitational, or the Salt Creek 24-hour race in October. So that's my big race I'm gearing up for. That's with Lori Mittman.
But what's great about these things that you do is you use these as vehicles for messaging of all sorts of other things, and also just promoting your community. And I think that's what I admire.
Yeah, thanks, Todd.
It's great, and I encourage people to come to the event and hear a bit more from Rob, and also learn a little bit more about the foundation as well. Shelley, it's good to see you. Thanks for coming by, and again, you can go to pa-ef.org, and you can get all of the info about this, about the foundation as well, and you can get some tickets too. And Rob, maybe I'll see you Friday.
All right, sounds good.
All right, that's again the Celebrate Education Gala is on March 14th. Starts up at about 5:30 at Field Arts and Events Hall that evening. We're going to take a break and wrap things up on our program right after this.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on Newsradio KONP.
I understand that as our world becomes more automated, receiving personalized service from a real person is more meaningful than ever. I'm Dan Shappy, and as a farmer's agent, I know a thing or two about how to help you select the insurance you want so you can
protect what matters most.
Call 360-681-0696 to learn more and chat with me, a real person and experienced farmer's agent, today.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Hello. This is Amanda Huff with Swim Valley and Harper Ridgeview Funeral Chapels. I'd like to take a moment to tell you about a new, exciting, and environmentally friendly development in the funeral industry. It's called Natural Organic Reduction, or simply terramation. Perhaps you've heard of it. Terramation is a process in which the body, after death, is returned to the earth in a carbon-neutral, eco-friendly manner. The process takes place in a controlled environment, and all that remains is a natural, odorless, compost-like material. If you'd like more information about terramation and advanced planning, call us today at Harper Ridgeview in Port Angeles or Swim Valley Chapel in Swim, and one of our knowledgeable and caring funeral professionals will assist you in answering your questions. Harper Ridgeview and Swim Valley Funeral Chapels, because your loved ones deserve the best.
Jim's Pharmacy, your partner for travel health, has great news. No referrals are needed. We will provide you with an international certificate of vaccination and prophylaxis, also known as a yellow card. Vaccinations including yellow fever, typhoid, rabies, cholera, Japanese encephalitis, hepatitis A and B, meningococcal polio, Tdap, and MMR. Jim's has all of your vaccinations, medications, home health, and gifting ideas. We're here to help. Jim's Pharmacy opens 7 days a week behind the Port Angeles Post Office.
Building a future, sharing a dream, working together, we're on the same team.
At Straight View Credit Union, we know that buying a home is a big decision, and that's why we're committed to offering local decisions made by local decision makers. Our mortgage team is comprised of experienced professionals who are intimately familiar with the Clallam County housing market, ensuring that you get the personalized attention and expertise you deserve. We're here to help you navigate the home buying process and make the best decisions for your unique financial situation. Plus, as a member-owned cooperative, we prioritize the needs of our members and our local community over profits. That's why we're proud to offer great mortgage rates that help support our members' dreams of homeownership. Straight View Credit Union, your trusted local financial partner. Visit us online at svcu.com or stop by our branch on Lincoln Street in PA. Insured by NCUA Equal Housing Lender.
Back to the program. It is Wednesday, and our final segment on Wednesday is devoted to our Bacon Bit segment. That's when our own Amanda Bacon sits down with some famous folks about what they're up to in the world of TV, movies, music, and such. And this time out, a talk with the son of Jim Croce, A.J. Croce. He talks about his new album called Heart of the Eternal.
Good morning, AJ.
Hi, Amanda. How are you?
I am fantastic. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. I have a day off, which I needed desperately. A day off of performing, at least. I'm in Salem, Massachusetts. So when we're finished, I get to walk around and check out the history here before heading off to the place in New Hampshire I'm going to next.
Man, what the lifestyle of a rock star is pretty intense. I don't think people understand how that is. And I love that you're finding a ability in your days off to like go and see these places that you get to go to.
I have to. I think I'd go stir crazy if I didn't. But every day I try and walk in the city that I'm performing in. So I have a sense of who's coming, the audience, and the what's going on in the city at any given time. And it gives me a perspective because I love to communicate with an audience when I'm on stage, and it makes a difference.
Absolutely. Let's talk about your new album, Heart of the Eternal. I'm going to tell you right now, On a Roll needs to be on every single person's playlist for this summer.
Oh, man. Thank you.
I dig that song.
That is so cool. It is funny, the person I was just talking to on the radio, they picked a song that no one else picked, and you're the first person to pick On a Roll and go, that's the one. And yes, I'm so grateful because each one of these is like, people say it every time. Each one of these is like my children. They kind of are. They're a little piece of myself. It's each one of them, and that one, it's autobiographical, obviously, and it just came right out. I wrote it in 20 minutes. It's one of those rare moments where I get to do that, and usually I'm toiling over the lyrics for a little while, make sure that it's the little the pronouns and personal pronouns, making sure that all of that is working and is original and resonates, hopefully.
Well, from the first lick, I was like, yeah, this needs to be on a plate. Like, it's a great album. How do you? I always like to ask people who have put a CD together, how do you then take the songs that you know are going to be on the album and lay them out? Do you have a hidden message for us? Or do you just throw them on there, and whatever order is whatever order?
Okay, so that's a good question. I don't often get asked, but there's a couple of answers. First of all, I don't think of it as a CD. I think of it as an LP.
You are correct.
So I think of side 1 and side 2. I think of making sure that there's parallels between them, but that they're unique. Mm-hmm. I think of that there are going to be stories that help to continue on side B and evolve and develop into what you find by the end of side 2, and hopefully that the last song on side B goes right into the first song on side A when people want to listen to it again. The other thing that I think is really relevant, and I've done it since my very first record. I was at Ocean Way Studios in Los Angeles, finished my first record, and Don Was, who's a very well-known producer, up and said, how are you going to put this in order? And I said, I'm not quite sure yet. And he said, well, I'll tell you a trick Paul Simon taught me, which is that he always arranges the songs chromatically so that the next song is above the one that just played. And that is to say, if the song you just played was in the key of D, and you have choices of a song in C or a song in E, you take the one that's in E, and it gives this. Even if the next song is a ballad and you just came from an up-tempo piece of music, it feels like you're moving up, like it's elevated. And I do that in my show, and I've done it ever since on my album. So I know that's a long answer.
No, that is fascinating and brilliant. I love that.
It's really interesting, and you'll see if you're ever programming music and you take the time to put the music in order chromatically as it's going up chromatically, you will always find that it's fascinating how well it works.
So I always have to put together set lists for different shows that I do, and I've never utilized that method. I'm like, okay, fast, slow, fast, fast. This is genius, and I definitely want to put this into practice on my next show. That's amazing.
Yeah, try it out. I mean, all you need is a guitar or a keyboard or honestly just a tuner on your phone, a guitar tuner or a chromatic tuner on your phone. See what key it's in. See what the last note of the song you just played is, and the first note of the next one. And if it's above it, then you're solid.
Dude, oh my gosh, you just blew my mind. AJ, when you tell people that you're AJ Croce, do people then go, wait, was your dad? And you always just finish it? Yeah. I mean, what is that like to have that kind of legacy?
It's a lot of things. It is, it's a beautiful thing. It's a challenging thing. I feel like it's hard on one level to be an individual. Once someone knows that I'm related to my father, just as if I was related to another famous person, it is at that point it is impossible for them to think of me as an individual. At that point, I become two people. I become his avatar in some fashion, and of course myself, and so it becomes a challenge because they have already have an idea of who he was. Whether it's true or not doesn't make a difference. That it's in their mind in the first place. So yeah, it is. It's wonderful and it's different. At least he was an amazing artist and writer and storyteller. I think that's the thing I'm grateful for. And of course, I learned a great deal from his storytelling. And even if my original influences were a little bit different than him, his influences and mine are very similar. It's just how we interpreted our influences.
Sure. Who were your influences?
Well, I always say Ray Charles was my gateway drug. And so when I was a kid, I lost my sight. I got turned on to Ray, and I got turned on to Stevie Wonder and all the old blind blues artists of the 20s and 30s. They were all inspirational. I loved all kinds of music. My father's collection was really deep, from old blues and country and gospel and rock and roll. The piano player, stride piano was a big thing that I learned as a teenager, and jazz and modern jazz. Monk was huge, but Mose Allison was influential, and Sly and the Family Stone, and the Rolling Stones, and the Kinks, and the Beatles, and the Faces, and all of the different styles of music that are on the radio. I was never afraid to change stations and listen to something unique or new to me. And R&B and soul music was the foundation of what I am as an artist, and kind of where I started. Obviously with B.B. King, one of my first tours was there. I think the second show was in Seattle there, and that's like almost 35 years ago now. So it's like It's a trip, but. I've drawn from a lot of different wells, and I think this album kind of puts them all in their place, at least in my world.
AJ Croce, you have no idea how much I wish I could just walk like arm in arm with you around before a show and just talk to you more. You are incredible, and I really, really thank you for your time this morning. The album Heart of the Eternal is out now, and you have to listen to it. It's so good.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and let's do that. Next time I'm there, we'll walk around.
That's amazing. I just want to pick your brain, man. You're so brilliant.
Thank you. Take care.
My life in the shadow of a hero would care about fame's less than zero. Learn my less about the meaning of a dollar. All I lost is enough to make you holler. Well, 35 years on the road to perdition. Things are looking up, I'm in a better position. On the ride of my life and I'm feeling fine. Gotta keep moving to the end of the line. I'm on a roll, on a roll. Roll right, take it slow. I've got a funny feeling that I'll never ever be the same. No, I'm on a roll, roll right, take it slow. How am I gonna feel when everybody knows my name? Lucky love more than I deserve it. All I have, it's all it means to serve it. Love stays in till you least expect it. When it gets given, you had better collect it. Life is life, but I'm always grateful. A little too busy, I got my plate full. Used to sit and wait for the phone to ring. I only have time to do one thing. I'm on a roll, on a roll. Roll my ticket's toll. I've got a funny feeling that I'll never ever be the same. No, I'm on a roll, on a roll. Roll my ticket's toll. How am I gonna feel when everybody knows my name?
And if you want to catch all of our Bacon Bits, they're available on our podcast network. In fact, Bacon Bits and all of our other podcasts are available there. Just go to myclallamcounty.com, click on the podcast tab at the top of the page.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on Newsradio KONP.
That's a wrap for the 40th annual KONP Home Show. A huge thank you to the thousands of attendees who explored, shopped, and connected with over 120 incredible vendors. You made this event a home run. And speaking of heavy lifting, major kudos to the Kiwanis Clubs for, well, literally carrying the load and doing such heavy lifting and parking duty. You guys are lifesavers. Special thanks to our presenting sponsor, Clallam PUD, for keeping the energy flowing, both at the show and in our community. And a big shout out to our participating sponsors, Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales, and the Lumber Traders family of businesses, Angelus Millwork, Hartnagel, and Angelus Rentals. Your support makes this event possible. So until next year, keep building, creating, and dreaming big. The KONP Home Show will return in March of 2026.
Get ready for spring with Swains. You won't want to miss the deals on outdoor gardening supplies. Fox Farm premium soils, all-purpose 1.5 cubic feet and 2 cubic feet of Happy Frog organic flour and plant potting soil is just $24.87. That's a $5 savings. Deer are pretty, but pesky when it comes to your beautiful yard. Bobex Deer Repellent is 20% off, and nobody wants weeds. So get your Preen Weed Preventer granules for only $14.87. All savings happening now through March 25th at Swains.
Permabuilt has been designing all types and sizes of post-frame buildings for over 52 years. Whether your needs are large or small, post-frame buildings can be the perfect solution for your home, farm, or business. From garages to barns to storage buildings, we create custom structures that are strong and reliable. Our team works with you every step of the way to ensure your building meets your needs and budget. Call 800-824-9552 or visit permabuilt.com to get started today.
Since 1945, Newsradio KONP has been your source for news and community. We are Newsradio KONP Port Angeles Squint.
From ABC News, I'm Lindsay Davis, anchor of Prime, streaming weeknights on ABC News Live. The trade war is intensifying after the U.S. imposed a 25% tariff on all steel and aluminum imports. President Trump defending the move, even though countries, including U.S. allies like Canada and the European Union, issued reciprocal tariffs on U.S. goods.
Whatever it is, it doesn't even matter what it is. If they charge us 25 or 20% or 10% or 2% or 200%, then that's what we're charging them.
The chances of a government shutdown this week are growing. Democrats today announced they will not support the House-passed bill now being weighed in the Senate. At issue, cuts to key programs like Medicaid.
The top Senate Democrat says his colleagues will not vote with Republicans to get the House-passed spending bill over a filibuster hurdle.
Our caucus is unified.
Accusing Republicans of drafting a partisan bill without Democratic input, Chuck Schumer says the Senate should instead pass a one-month extension of government funding through April 11th. But the House isn't due back from recess until a week from Monday. All of this makes a Friday night shutdown seem more likely. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Massive layoffs are taking place at the Education Department, the next target of the Trump administration's cutbacks. Roughly 50% of staffers at the DOE are being laid off or offered buyouts. Curriculum decisions are still taking place at the local and state levels. A day after Ukraine agreed to a U.S. proposed 30-day ceasefire, Russia carried out attacks across eastern Ukraine. At a stopover in Ireland from talks in Saudi Arabia, Secretary of State Marco Rubio says getting Russia to agree is the next step.
Neither side can militarily achieve their maximalist gains, their maximalist goals. Neither side can achieve them through the military side. The only way this conflict can end is through negotiation.
Russia says it's reviewing the terms of the ceasefire proposal. On Wall Street, stocks regained some ground on positive data that inflation is cooling. You're listening to ABC News.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
I'm Lindsay Davis. For the latest on today's headlines, be sure to watch Prime tonight, starting at 7 Eastern on ABC News Live. Now with more news, here's Michelle Franzen.
Southern California bracing for another round of heavy rain.
In recent wildfire burn areas, the ground is fragile and can slide. The last round of rain filled buildings with mud. In this round, already evacuation orders are going up in burn areas, and the Pacific Coast Highway is being closed. Mark Pistrella with LA County Public Works.
We do expect that we're going to have some debris
flow in this event.
ABC's Alex Stone in Los Angeles. Hundreds of demonstrators marching in New York City to demand the release of Palestinian student protest organizer Mahmoud Halil. It follows a hearing today where the U.S. government is working to deport him for his role in campus protests. Here's ABC's Aaron Katursky.
As a Columbia University graduate student, Halil helped lead pro-Palestinian protests. Federal agents arrested Halil Saturday. He's currently being held at a detention facility in Louisiana. Halil's attorney telling ABC News authorities told Halil his student visa was being revoked, but he no longer has a student visa. He's a green card holder, a permanent resident, and his American wife is 8 months pregnant. President Trump writing, this is the first arrest of many to come.
Former president of the Philippines, Rodrigo Duterte, was turned over to the custody of the International Criminal Court today. It follows his arrest on charges accusing him of crimes against humanity during his deadly anti-drug crackdowns when he was in office. This is ABC News.
KONP News brought to you by McCrory Carpet One. Always priced right, always done right. It's McCrory Carpet One. Clallam County's jail staff shortage is impacting the chain gang program. The sheriff's office has reduced litter cleanup efforts, resulting in a nearly $70,000 cut in state funding that helps pay for the chain gang. The program will now cover just 10 miles of roads and collect about 500 pounds of litter, significantly less than had been expected at this point. Washington Governor Bob Ferguson is voluntarily limiting his emergency powers after a bill to restrict gubernatorial authority stalled. Ferguson said he would end any emergency after 60 days if 3 of 4 legislative caucus leaders requested it. Some lawmakers see that as progress. Others argue reform should be legally mandated.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by All Weather Heating and Cooling. High temperatures reach up to 47 this afternoon under overcast skies, with rain showers likely, west winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Cloudy skies expected again tonight. Chance of rain showers, lows dip down to about 35. Cloudy skies expected tomorrow. Showers likely, high temperatures reach up to 46. Upper 40s Friday and Saturday with showers both days. A peek at the extended shows, 48 Sunday, 48 Monday, and 48 on Tuesday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently 45.
Live from Ramsey Network, this is The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create amazing relationships. I'm George Campbell, joined by #1 best-selling author and all-around good guy, Dr. John Deloney. Taking your calls at 888-825-5225. Jump in, we'll talk about your life, your money, and try to help you take the right next step. Jason's going to kick us off in Cincinnati. Jason, how can we help?
Yeah, so my mother was advised by a lawyer to stop paying some of her debts. My adult sister moved in with her about 3 years ago, and they've kind of accumulated since then a decent amount of debt, and a lot of it is in my mother's name. And the lawyer told her just to stop making payments on it and just let it go.
Why was she working with a lawyer?
And, I don't necessarily know that she was working with a lawyer. I think she just called a lawyer to ask for advice, and the lawyer
no lawyer would do
stop
that.
Making payments.
Yeah,
that's kind of what I felt.
That didn't pass my smell
from
test.
listening to you guys.
I would question who she got in contact with and what their actual credentials are, but this sounds like a debt relief company. That's the only people who would tell you, hey, stop paying on your debt, give me the payment instead, and we'll resolve this on the back end when you tank your financial life, and we'll try to settle it. Was that the intention, you think?
No, I don't think so, because they didn't follow it up with anything like that. I mean, like, that's why I told her, I said, Mom, it just sounds to me like they just didn't want the business, and just was a quick way for them to get off the call, in my opinion.
Yeah, but they won't give you
they
won't give you legal advice to just get off the phone like that. Like they've got a fiduciary interest, a licensed attorney, to do what's best for you. And that's why they're not just going to rip off, like, yeah, quit paying it, we'll talk to you later. They're just not going to do that, because it may put your mom in a situation like she's in now, which is pretty dire.
Yeah.
How bad is the debt?
I would say probably all in all it's about $30,000.
Okay.
And then what is your sister's involvement in all of this?
So she was recently divorced, kind of really left in not such a great place, and she's had several different jobs, some that were high paying, some that were not. She's in one right now that's not very high paying. She's making probably about $18 an hour, and it just kind of keeps them afloat with my mom's Social Security, and my mom also has a small pension from when she was employed earlier in her life.
Okay, and then what's your involvement in all of this? Why are you calling today?
More just out of concern for them. I didn't know if I didn't know if just not paying the debt, was could come back on my sister since she lives with her, or any of it, because that's what my mom's under the impression that she just stops paying it when she dies, it all goes away. And it was kind of, I don't know, it didn't sit right with me because I listen to you guys all the time on my way home from work, and I don't know, it didn't sound like sound advice to me.
I would agree. Ignoring your debt and saying, well, I'll just die with it. That's a terrible financial plan. And I can't speak to all of the ramifications of, if it's an unsecured debt, they might write it off when you send a death certificate. If it's a secured debt, it's going to get paid from the estate. So any assets she has will be used to pay it off. And so I'm not sure how all that's going to shake down. Is your mother in good health? Is she able to work?
She's in decent health. She, and when she retired, she was working from home, so I don't necessarily know. I don't think she's opposed to that, and I think she's actually looking into it. But I think she's in her mid-70s, so she's kind of like, I don't think she wants to have to go back to work, but I think that's just kind of where she's at right now, to where, she's just trying to figure out what she has to do.
Was she unable to pay all of her bills, including her minimum debt payments?
So, I mean, like when she was on her own, no, she had no problem. So, I mean, now that she has my adult sister living with her and they make $16 an hour and she's, they probably don't live on the tightest of budgets. No, they don't.
But why did your sister moving in add all of these extra expenses to where now your mom can't stay afloat?
That's a great question. I think it's their living habits, really. It's eating out quite a bit. It's DoorDash being delivered to the house, and I think they are trying to clean a lot of that up. But I think now it's more so.
I've not once tried to clean up a mess and said, you know what, let's just DoorDash tonight. We've worked hard.
Yeah.
So I think you're the concerned brother watching your family drown, and you want to give them a life
100%.
raft, and there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
You can give them all the solutions. I don't think they want to hear it from you, do they? Have you tried to talk to them?
I have. Yeah, I've had more so my mom, because my sister doesn't want to. It's not always easy to talk.
Not a great
to my sister
relationship?
about it, but it's not stellar. Yeah.
And how much debt does your sister have? Do you know?
Oh, I couldn't even begin to tell you. I know she has student loans and a loan against a trust that my family left for us. So
oh man,
I couldn't tell you exactly what it is, but I know it's got to be close to 100,000.
Yikes!
And that's a guess. That's a complete guess, to be honest with you.
And do you know your mother's income?
I want to say my mom brings about maybe $1,500 a month from her pension and Social Security
combined,
roughly. I think, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there's no way they're even staying in this house. Is the house paid for? Are they renting?
The house is paid for by my family, who left it in a trust to them. The only thing that they have to pay for the house is $400 a month for the HOA fees.
I'm not sure they can even afford that. Plus insurance and taxes.
They're struggling.
And eating?
They are struggling to. Correct.
And car insurance and gas. Well. I mean, I don't see a way out unless we increase the income. And I don't know. I don't know how mom's going to survive with or without your sister living there. It's clearly not helping to have your sister there. But even if your sister left, I don't see a world where mom pays off $30,000 in debt, making $1,500 a month, barely making it.
Yes.
Will they listen to you?
Yeah, that's what
if you went and sat down with them and said, "Hey, I want to get an honest, true, what is reality picture financially? I want y'all to both pull your credit reports." Will they hear you on that? Are they drowning enough to where they're willing to accept help, or are you just concerned and they don't really care what you have to say?
I mean, I think they would listen to me. My only concern is that with my mom getting this advice from this lawyer, I think that she's just kind of like, she sees that as easy street. It's like, oh, nice, that's the solution, just stop paying it.
Yeah, I don't know who gave her that. If a licensed attorney answered the phone and just said, yes, ma'am, I'm not going to take your case, but just pay all your, just quit paying and went on. Or if she's got a friend who's a licensed attorney, like at her church, who said, yeah, just quit paying, that person should lose their license.
Yeah.
If she sat down and hired a lawyer who went through everything and found some reason why she didn't have to pay, that's another story, but that doesn't sound like the case here.
No, yeah, that's definitely not the case.
Have collectors started coming after her?
Didn't hire. Not that I'm aware of, but I can't imagine it would. I mean,
it's probably coming soon.
Would be pretty soon.
Probably followed by lawsuits.
Yeah.
She's not just going to bury her head in the sand and have this go away. So there's going to be some hard conversations, some major lifestyle changes. Everyone's going to have to get to work, and I don't want you to enable it. It doesn't sound like you're trying to do that. You're not trying to just fund their life. But there's going to have to be a conversation about what the next year looks like, 5 years, 10 years. Otherwise, you're going to be left with a mess and have to just wash your hands of it and go, you guys do what you want to do.
You get to sell this house and pay off all these debts.
Get sold and find somewhere to rent. Sister's got to go make some real money. Mom might have to work part-time. Man, I'm so sorry you're dealing with this. It's a series and pattern of terrible financial decisions over a long period of time. That's a hard knot to undo, my friend. This is The Ramsey Show.
In a world full of threats, millions of Americans trust SimpliSafe, the only home security system I recommend. It's a simple press of a button that gives them peace of mind knowing the things they've worked for and the people they love are secure. Traditional security systems only take action after someone breaks in, which is too late. But SimpliSafe's Active Guard outdoor protection can help prevent break-ins before they happen. AI-powered cameras backed by live professional monitoring agents detect suspicious activity. Then live SimpliSafe agents can see and talk to intruders in real time, activate spotlights, even contact the police, all before they've had a chance to break in. And right now you can get 50% off a new SimpliSafe system with professional monitoring. Plus, SimpliSafe offers a 60-day money-back guarantee, so don't wait. Go to SimpliSafeDirect.com. That's SimpliSafeDirect.com. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
There's a time to rent, but you don't want to do it forever. With a mortgage, you build equity, making home ownership an important part of a long-term financial plan. So when you're ready to quit renting, go with a Ramsey trusted partner, Churchill Mortgage. Churchill makes sure that your home is a blessing and not a burden. So learn more at ChurchillMortgage.com.
This is a paid advertisement. NMLS ID 1591. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Equal housing lender. 1749 Mallory Lane, Suite 100. Brentwood, Tennessee 37027.
I talk to people every day who want to know how to do better in two areas: money and relationships. That's why I'm pumped to bring the Money and Relationships Tour to a city near you. Join me and Dr. John Deloney for a night that will challenge the way you think about this stuff and possibly change how you live forever. Starting April 21st, we'll be in Louisville, then on to Durham, Atlanta, Phoenix, Fort Worth, and Kansas City. Grab your tickets at RamseySolutions.com/tour before they're gone.
Imagine being excited about Mondays. What if, instead of waking up depressed and discouraged, you were actually excited for work? Knowing your purpose is the key to escaping your meaningless 9-to-5, to increasing your income, and to finding work you love. That's why I created the Get Clear assessment, to help you discover what you do best, what work you love to do, and the results that fire you up, and jobs that would be a tremendous fit for you. After completing this quick assessment, you'll finally learn what truly drives you, so Mondays don't have to suck ever again. The assessment will help you create a purpose statement so you can discover countless ways to do meaningful work in your career. The truth is, nothing's going to change until you decide to take action. And don't just take it from me. With over 100 5-star reviews, people just like you are getting clear on what they were born to do and finding work that gives them purpose. To order your Get Clear assessment, Go to RamseySolutions.com today.
Are you wondering where your money goes every month? You work too hard to be living paycheck to paycheck. It's time to get gazelle intense about making a change, and we want to help you build a future you can be excited about. Our all-time best-selling book, The Total Money Makeover, is going to help you take control of your money. You'll learn 7 organized, easy-to-follow steps that will lead you out of debt, help you build wealth, and secure your future. Plus, you'll be inspired by the real-life stories from folks just like you who have learned how to put these principles into action and change their family tree. I've heard so many debt-free screams over the years from people that won with money, and so many of them started with this book. So what are you waiting for? It's time for your Total Money Makeover. Get it today in the online store at RamseySolutions.com. or call us at 888-22-PEACE. That's RamseySolutions.com or 888-227-3223.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, joined by Dr. John Deloney. Give us a call, 888-825-5225. Kelly's up next in Salt Lake City. Kelly, welcome to The Ramsey Show. How can John and I help?
Hi, thank you for taking my call. My husband and I started a business here just the end of last year, and we were making pretty good money, but it's not quite enough to make ends meet. And at this point, we've put pretty much everything we have into it, and it has the potential, but we're just trying to figure out some more ways to bring money into the business to try to increase that to make ends meet.
What kind of business?
It's an indoor baseball training facility.
Okay, and how you